Well, welcome everybody. My name is Jeff Letts, and I'm the CEO of a company called Genistar. We're a financial education company, and our philosophy really is about, helping everybody to get the right education, the right knowledge in order to make intelligent decisions when it comes to your money. In fact, our tagline is financial freedom for all. And the reason that we've put together this series of seminars on how to combat the cost of living crisis is, number one, it's on everybody's mind. And number two is that we wanted to be able to offer value and service to people to really help give them hope and opportunity that there is a light at the end of the tunnel and it's not an oncoming train. So I think you all are really going to be just absolutely, educated tonight, get some great ideas, and just kind of sit back, hopefully grab a notepad and a pen, take some notes, and I'll be coming back to join you at the end of the seminar. But I'm going to hand you over right now to two of our esteemed colleagues, Steve Jenkins and Justina Ilachi, and they've got some great information for you. So Steve, over to you.
Thank you, Jeff. As Jeff says, my name is Steve Jenkins. I'm one of the national sales directors with the company, and welcome. And really hope you get a lot out of today. Write down all your questions, because we will be running a poll later, so that you can kind of be engaged and involved. Today, we're going to talk about how to deal with rising utility bills, which is probably the one area that's on people's minds more than anything else at the moment. However, over the next 5 weeks, we will be covering the following topics. On top of what we're dealing with today, next week, we'll be covering how to secure your income. Then the following week, how to manage your mortgage. And then the following week after that, how to manage your health, and the final one, how to manage your mental health, as we're all going through these stressful times of rising prices. And it really is unprecedented. In 35 years of being a working man, I don't think I've ever, I can't remember another time where there's so much fear, there's so much worry, there's so much concern about what's going to happen to each and every one of us with regards to our finances and the knock-on effect that that has to our health and state of mind. So this evening, we're going to be concentrating on just one of these topics, and that's the rising utility prices. And what we're going to do, first of all, is we're going to ask the question, why are energy prices rising? Well, there's no one single factor. It's a combination of things as the world is changing. First of all, there's been a global shortage of gas now for quite a while because of increased demand around the world due to last winter being incredibly cold and long. When you've got a longer winter, then our heating is on more often, and therefore the reserves that the gas industry has get depleted. So that's number one reason. Number two is they're trying to manage the supply for the winter ahead, which again is to be predicted. Is being predicted as an incredibly long, cold one again. So on top of that, we've got changing weather patterns, which is having impact on all sorts of areas, global warming and the changing planet, etc. And it's causing issues in all parts of the world, and demand therefore is increasing for gas. And then obviously lockdown had the lockdowns that had a knock-on effect. And the knock-on effect is that because we were home more, we were increasing the amount of consumption that we were using for electricity and gas. And as a knock-on effect, more people are staying at home now and working from home. So there are more buildings that are requiring heat and energy that's depleting the reserves that the industry has. And then, of course, throw into the mix the Ukraine crisis, where supply has been disrupted even over the weekend. I'm sure you've read the news that the lines of energy coming from Russia has been stopped for the moment, apparently because of some maintenance required, but and the price again over the weekend has risen alarmingly once more. So there's other areas as well. Some of them are political, some of them are opinions, some of them, you know, commercial. But you add all this up, and one thing that is a fact, and that is the price has risen. And we've got here some prices from the past, a price that's going to go up in October, and predictions that are coming from mainstream media with regards to what's happening next year. So let's look at the past first. The average cost of energy in 2021 per household was £111.60 per month, or £1,339 for the year. And then in April, the average price was capped at £164 a month, or just under £2,000 a year, 1968. And that's a 47% pay rise, which is huge. But then October the 1st is just around the corner. It's 3 weeks away. And that's going to increase by 80% to £296 per month, or just over £3,500 a year per family, per household. That's the average. Some are going to be paying more, some are going to be paying less, but they're the average. So when you add those two together, that's a total increase in less than 12 months of 127% on gas and electricity. I just want to say that again, 127%. And you add to that the rise in food prices, fuel, interest rates rising, etc. That's you know, that's we've got tough times ahead. There's no denying that. Now, January 23, there's no exact figures yet. They haven't been set, but there's some predictions in the press, and it's looking like another 15% increase, which is £341 a month for the average family, and just over £4,000 a year to pay for gas and electricity. So that's a total increase in a year and a half of 142%, which is very sobering, I'm sure. And there are going to be some families that are going to have to choose between either eating through the winter or heating during the winter. And you know, it's going to be a tough time. But I know what we're like. I know what we're like as Britain, the United Kingdom. When tough times happen, we pull together as communities, and we're going to be looking out for our neighbour, looking out for our families, and making sure that you know, that they're okay. So I'm going to hand you over to my colleague Justina now, who's Vice President with Genistar, and she's going to talk about the energy price and some solutions that may be able to help you. So Justina, over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Steve. Yeah, so what Steve has been talking about is what the energy price cap is. And this is set as a limit, a maximum amount of charge that you pay for your gas and electric. Yeah, and it's usually a standard charge, especially because most of our homes are connected to the national grid. So we have not too many people are using solar or any other form of electricity source. So this price cap is usually set by Ofgem every 3 months. So when you look at it per quarter and look at how much we are spending, and looking at what Steve had just completed, he has talked to us about the extra money that we might have to think about. And so the question is, where will this extra money be coming from? Where do we, because it's going to mean that some things would have to maybe change in our lives. Yeah, and so we are wanting to consider, Genistar is giving you this free session to start you off thinking very carefully about what you can do about this extra money. Yeah, so one of the things you could do is ask your employer for a rise. This made me laugh so much, because which employer would you be asking for a rise? Yeah, and do you think you are in that position to ask your employer for a rise? Will it happen? Or are we just going to go on strikes and strikes and strikes like so much? And that is what's happening at the moment. A lot of people are thinking, I should be paid more, right? And that is causing a lot of mayhem. When you think about what's happening with the railway workers and how much they have disrupted our movement, our transportation, because essentially what is happening is people are looking out for a pay rise. How reasonable is that for you at this point? Yeah. Or you could be thinking your budget. So what is your budget like? Again, what are you looking at to start thinking about your budget? Because if the extra money is in your planning already, which probably isn't, how are you thinking of where this money would come from? Because that's what we're thinking. And what we're saying to you here is, if you begin to look at your income and outgoings, yeah, and reasonably start thinking, do you have the extra money? What can you trim off? Yeah, what can you trim off your budget? And that's the major question that you'd be asking yourself now. Or are you simply just thinking about the rebate that the government is going to offer? £400 a year. You just heard my colleague, Steve, was just saying to us, isn't it? And in fact, I was reasonably surprised by what came out when I started thinking about how do I manage in these times? Because you keep hearing the government saying, oh, it's £400 per year. I'll give that as a rebate. But nobody's telling you, so how much are you going to be spending in a year anyway on energy? If you're going to be spending by October 3,000 something in a year, or roughly almost £3,000, 3,000 something, 300 and something in a month, then what is £400 going to do? That's about 30, is it 30 something pounds? How is that going to help? How is that going to be the extra cost? Or you can finally be thinking, so do I need to think of an additional income? Where would the additional income come from? What do I need to look for? Is there a job out there that I could consider? Yeah, because that again means that I have carried out, I've thought about all the 1, 2, and 3, and I've come around to start saying to myself, from what I can see, from the way my budget looks at the moment, from what I can see coming in and out, my safest bet is to start thinking where I could do something extra to make the extra money. And for some of us, that's where we're at. Yeah. So, and then there is a bonus solution. This one made me laugh. Yeah, because I just thought, yeah, I just need to keep waiting until the 30th of September and take a reading. Because if we don't do that by the 30th, what might happen is that you might be overcharged. And so if you're taking a screenshot of this page, you must remember that about the 30th, if you're not using a smart meter particularly, then you need to know what your reading is, because you don't want somebody to overcharge you on a new price cap. You would want to use certainly the one that we're on at the moment, which is going to be looking a bit better than when you get to October the 1st. Yeah. So more than ever, we need to assess our household budget. Big thing. And how can we do it? We want to give you a few steps that would help you start thinking, how do I manage my budget? The first thing you would want to do, especially, yeah, is list every regular outcome from your bank account. Everybody has a statement. Hopefully everybody who's sitting here has a bank account and a statement that comes every month. And so one of the good things is look 3 months back, work it out through at least 3 times, just to know what are the regular things that go off. For instance, it could be your, particularly what goes out of our account is direct debits. What are the direct debits? What are the things that you must pay? And what are the standing orders, the ones that you set up by yourself that you still have to work, you still have to pay? And then start looking at what are the regular things that you do. And then you start looking, so what are the ones that incidentally happen? I have to travel, for instance. Yeah, I will have to, at least there are a few luxuries that I would love to have at the weekends. Yeah, buying clothes is now a luxury. So I'll put it down as an incidental, right? So what are those things that are on your account that is not regular? Yeah, and then you work on the energy. What is it going to look like, the energy price cap for you personally? Because if you know where you are at now, 80% on top is what you add. Yeah, and it tells you roughly, bottom line, this is what is going to happen by October. Yeah, and we could then calculate whether we could be in the surplus or do we have a shortfall. And for everybody, this surplus or shortfall could look different. For some people, I mean, they expect themselves to have a surplus of 1,000 something. And for some of us, we want a surplus of just a few hundreds. Yeah. And so you want to know what shortfall, what are you now going to miss because of this price increase? There might be some few things that you would increase, like you would notice, and things that you could manage. And so the first thing that we suggest is that you do a household budget, and we have something to help you do that. Yeah, so if you are here and you know who invited you, right, what could happen is you could ask them to give you what we call a budget planner. Fact finder is what we call it. Yeah, and it would go through everything that you have. You go through everything, nice, lovely steps. Yeah, and get at the end of the day what your surplus looks like or what your shortfall is. So, and I'm hoping that this is something you take a screenshot of, because it's usually overlooked. You overlook these household budgets and you don't really realize what it does to you. Yeah, and so, yeah. And we have something lovely for family, for families. Janice has developed something that is free, and it helps families look at this energy challenge. It's like a game, I think. Yeah, and I imagine that what would happen is you're sitting with the children doing it together, because if you get them, everybody together working on the same thing, then where you need to cut costs and where they would make demands on you that you don't really need, right, at this time, they wouldn't make those demands because they know and understand how it works. And so this is like a game. And if you're in here and you would like to be part of this, you can take a screenshot. So at this point, if you have taken a screenshot and you want to be part of this Family Energy Challenge, it's a course and you might enjoy it with your family, then do so. So I'll be handing this back to Steve, who will carry on and explain some more to you.
Thank you, Justina. So you'll have your own conclusions, you'll have your own solutions, perhaps. You may not. But if you're starting to think about it now and starting to work things out, then at least now you're on a path to putting some sort of solution in place. Personal opinion is that I think more than ever now, people need an additional income. Yeah. So you may want to start looking, for a part-time job, in the evening, maybe serving somewhere, doing some sort of extra hours, and if you've got the time to do that, then the extra money that you'll be earning will obviously go towards offsetting these rising prices. Okay, so look for part-time work in the evenings, weekends, in your spare time. The other thing you could do is you could turn whatever passion you've got into a business. We've seen many, many examples of that. At my church, there's a lady who makes the most incredible cakes you're ever going to taste. And about 10 years ago, all her friends and family were encouraging her to start a business. And that business is a passion, or was a passion previously. And she's now gone full time with that and doing incredibly well. She's making a very good living from doing that. So, it could be whatever you enjoy doing, try and find out if you can monetize that and turn that into an income stream. Maybe look for a higher paid job. Maybe it's time for you to go looking for a different career path, perhaps. And if that doesn't seem to be a solution possible, then upskill yourself. Maybe look for a course in something you have an interest in, that could potentially lead to a career change. Whatever you do, you've got to be part of the solution, and you've got to find different ways of combating these rising prices for you and your family. And one thing that we here at Genistar do, we pride ourselves on helping our families that we look after. We've got over 100,000 clients now that we help save money in lots of different areas, but also many of them over the years have started to make money through Genistar too. So on the left-hand side, what a lot of our clients do is they refer us on to other people, and they can get a percentage of the income stream that comes from the products and services that they buy through our preferred partners. And if someone hasn't got much time, this is a great way of making 100, maybe 200, maybe 300 pounds a month coming in just by referring people that want someone to look at their finances and someone to give them an education that, frankly, they should have got at school about how money works and how to manage things like debts and investments and insurances, etc. And some of those clients have now moved on to work with us part-time, working a couple of evenings a week, teaching our financial education and helping families. And just for working 1 or 2 evenings a week, typically our part-time people are receiving between £1,000 and £2,000 a month once they've gone through the training and they've mastered some of the processes and skills required. And then there's many of us like myself and Justina who've turned it into a full-blown business, and we are full-time with Genistar, and it's now our chosen career. And we're very passionate about it, and we're always on the lookout for like-minded people to come and join our mission of helping as many families as possible across the United Kingdom get out of debt if that's relevant, start saving, investing towards and becoming financially independent. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take a poll. So just bear with me a second. I've got to press a couple of buttons. Here we go. So on your screen, what you're going to see is you're going to see a question. And these questions are designed to help you along the journey of making some decisions and getting some clarification of what solutions you've got in place. So the question says, do you know how much your electricity and gas will go up by in October? And they're coming in now. The answer no is the most popular. It's at about the 70-30 mark. So we have, it's still going. Yeah, there's 300 of you almost that have answered the question. There's 100 of you 180 of you that haven't yet. So we're over, well over 300 now. So if you haven't answered the question, now's the time. Do you know? Now, don't cheat. Don't kind of go work it out and then just say, yes, I do. There's no prizes for yes. Okay. All right. Slowing down now. We have 72% don't know the actual bill and what it's going to be in October. And there's 28% of you that do. So that's very interesting, isn't it? 70% of the people on the call tonight just have no clue what their new gas and electricity bills are going to be. Well, now you've got a formula. You just look at your last bill, multiply it by 80%, and you'll know exactly what's coming. Okay, so question number 2. All right, so we end that one. Go to question 2. So question 2 is on your screen now. What can you do if you have less money coming in than going out? Now, this is a great question because there's an article a couple of weekends ago that said 6 million people in the UK are going to have their savings obliterated by the energy price increase. How many of those that have got no savings are going to have now a situation where they're going to have more money going out than more money coming in? So what can you do? Well, 4% at the moment are at reducing overheads. We've got 9% saying obtain an additional income, 7% cut back on incidentals and luxuries, and a whopping 75% all of the above. So that's huge. I mean, that is good. That means you're focusing on all fronts. Yeah, reducing your overheads, getting your budget sorted out, cutting the fat out of your budget, as we say, looking at additional income streams, cut back on incidentals and luxuries. That's rising. That's up to 12% now, and we've settled on 73% of people out of the 500 approximately that are on here have got all of the above. So good for you. Good for you. All right, let's move on to question 3. All right, ready? Here it comes. Can you shop around to get better energy prices? Let's see what people's perception is of that. All right, well done. We are now, yeah, it's pretty, oh no, the answer no is the most popular now. It's surged ahead, around about the 60% of mark people saying no, the energy cap has set everyone with the same price. Okay, with this one, there's no right or wrong answers. The bottom one, yes, I can look into a deal with your present provider. Some energy suppliers are offering their existing customers a deal whereby you can lock in a price right now, and they're offering deals where you can extend it for 6 months, a year, to try and combat. What they're trying to do is they're trying to buy your loyalty over the next year or two, which is fine. That's if they're gonna. If prices are going to continue to rise, a little bit like someone who's got a fixed rate mortgage at the moment with rising interest rates, that's a good thing. So it's fixing the price with your energy supplier. Maybe a part of your solution is to ring your existing energy supplier and ask what deal they'll offer you at a fixed rate. There we go. So we've 71% have participated, which is high. That's great. 22% have said, yes, I can once the energy cap has been removed. That is correct. No, the energy cap has set all providers with the same price. Well, that's technically correct as well, until the energy cap finishes or when it finishes. And also you can ring your supplier and see if you can find a better deal. Okay, so question 4. So this is kind of like the final question. Here we go, should be on your screen now. So which of these areas would you say you're most interested in getting more information about? You can choose multiple answers here on this question. And you don't have to just click one. You can click 1, 2, 3, or all of the above. So Adam, oh, this is pretty evenly matched here. Well, actually, no, all of the above has surged ahead now, and it's over 60%. You know, some of you may be interested in getting what we call a financial game plan, which is an online software program that we give to our clients free of charge, and they have access 24/7, 365, and it acts like a sat nav for your finances. It's worth getting. It's free, and it's a great tool to help you plan your future in every area of your finances. Maybe you're interested in learning about additional income. Yeah, we are looking for more people to teach our financial education. And, you know, as I said once to a group of people who I was running a debt seminar, and I came up with the idea that most people haven't really got a debt problem. What they have is an income problem, because if you have extra income coming away, as long as you're sensible, you can use that extra income to eradicate the debt. And most people end up in debt because they're not earning enough income. So maybe we need to look at that. And maybe, and there's a 24% of you that are saying you're interested in a career change or a business opportunity with Genistar. So that's great. Well, I would encourage all of you to speak to the person who invited you here today about those. And if you're a client of ours and you got communicated via email, then you know, get in touch with us, and we'll get someone to help you with that. Okay, so I'm going to hand you back now to our CEO, Mr. Jeff Letts. Jeff, you there?
Yes, Steve. Thank you, Steve, and thank you, Justina. Great job. Again, we wanted to keep these sessions short, concise. We know, people are just getting home, grabbing a quick meal, putting the kids to bed. And so let me tell you a little bit about what's, how to combat the cost of living crisis. What's the next session is on the 12th of September, which will be next Monday evening. And you do need to sign up for that also, so that, that we make sure that we have enough room for everybody. We had 496 people on here. So feel free, to invite your friends and family. As you can tell, we're not trying to sell you anything. We're really trying to give you just financial education and knowledge to be able to make the right decisions. On the 3rd, session 3 is on the 19th of September, how to manage your mortgage. We got some great ideas for you on that. And then the 26th, how to manage your health. And then the 3rd of October, we're not going to be doing one of these sessions, but we'll be doing actually a business overview on that on the 3rd of October. And then on the 10th of October, how to manage your mental health. So make sure that you register for session 2. You can take a picture of the QR code, but you can also, obviously, you had to register for this. We'll be sending out a follow-up email to you. And included in that will be the Fact Finder, the budget page that we're going to be sending to you. And yeah, then you can just hit the link and register for next week's session. So Steve, is there another slide, or is that it? You still with us, Steve? Okay. Steve, can we unshare the screen if I could, please? And I will just be on here just for a minute and just kind of speak to everybody. First of all, thank you, all of you, for being on here with us this evening. We had a total of 496 people. We will also be making the recordings. Probably won't be for a few weeks just because of our schedule and the demand on things that we've got going on, but we will eventually have all of these on our website so that, people can come back and obviously, know exactly when to be able to get back on. Steve, you mentioned the financial game plan. And
Yeah.
I just want to mention, to you guys that, I did one of these, Margot and I did, when we were 24 years old. It was in the US. And we've lived here now for 20 years. And I got to tell you, we've talked to thousands of people, and not many people have really done a financial plan like this. And if you go to a typical IFA, financial advisors, they'll typically charge you $1,000 to £2,000. And I would really encourage all of you to get one of these, and we do it complimentary, okay? And then lastly, I just want to say, isn't it amazing that in school, we go through 14,000 hours of education, and yet we learn very little, if anything, about money. We come out of school, we get a job or start a business, we start earning income, and what do we do with it? We start spending it. And in next week's seminar and over the coming weeks, we're going to go through some statistics with you, which show that 95% of the people end up at age 67, basically dead broke. And guys, it doesn't have to be that way. And what Genistar's mission is all about is helping every single person. It shouldn't matter what your age is, your color, your sex, your religion, none of that stuff should matter. We believe that financial freedom should be for every single person, and it can be. It can be for anybody that has a desire to be able to secure their future financially. So thanks again so much for joining us here this evening. I would highly recommend that you get in touch with the person that invited you onto the call here this evening. If you enjoyed it, tell your friends, tell your family once you get that follow-up email, and feel free to share that link with them. And thank you all so much for joining us. Thank you, Steve. and Justina for doing all the research. And it's crazy what's happening with the utilities. We can't help, that they're going to be raising prices, but we can help people go make an extra 500 or 1,000 or 2,000 pounds a month so they can actually pay the bill. And of course, not just combat the cost of living crisis, but actually overcome it. Have a lovely evening. Thanks again for joining us.